So I want to start by introducing myself. My name is Jaime Kelly, and I am the Director of Certificate and Non-Degree Programs at the College of Liberal and Professional Studies, which is part of the School of Arts and Sciences at the University of Pennsylvania. And one of the programs that I have the good fortune of working with is the Penn Alumni Program at Penn. And I think I've been working with the Penn Alumni Program for about 7 years of the time that I've been at Penn. So I want to talk a little bit about the agenda for today. The first is to talk about, what is the Penn Alumni Program? Make sure you have a good understanding of that. Next, what is it like to be a student in the program? And then lastly, what can I do with this program? I'll tell you a little bit about the students in this program. So Penn Alumni Program, it is open to graduates of the University of Pennsylvania, Bryn Mawr College, Haverford College, Swarthmore College, and the Curtis Institute of Music. Students that have received their bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, PhD, professional degrees at that institution. And those students have the benefit of the option to come back to Penn at any time to take classes at the university without a formal application. There are, I think I mentioned about 300 students in the program at this time. And they, again, are everyone from someone who just received their bachelor's degrees to someone who's retired that has a PhD from one of, most likely the University of Pennsylvania, that wants to come back and enjoy some classes. The program is extremely customizable. We have students participating for primarily 3 reasons. The first is career advancement. So sometimes we have a student that maybe studied something completely different as an undergraduate and finds themselves in sort of a career that doesn't match their studies, or even wants to move into a career that's different from their undergraduate studies, and they want to take a few classes at Penn to sort of get that advantage. So we certainly have those students. Graduate school preparation is probably the #1 reason why students apply or enroll in the Penn Alumni Program. And students could be just needing to take a course or 2 before applying to graduate school, or even, completely changing their field of study. Lastly, there's personal enrichment. So taking a course for pleasure. Graduates of the university, again, are welcome to come back to this program to do that as well. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the classes that you'll have access to. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat to the university course roster. And why I recommend using the course roster is that on the College of Liberal and Professional Studies site, you will see all of the courses that are offered by LPS. And they're great classes, and they're in the evening, so they work for working professionals. But Penn alumni have access to far more than the LPS classes. Students in our program take daytime classes offered by the college, or I see them taking engineering classes, fine arts classes in the School of Design, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's why I encourage you to sort of take a look at the main university roster to see what's available. Now, it's not completely, you don't have access to absolutely everything. There are little restrictions here and there. And a big rule for our program is that students have to take classes at the 599 level and below. So that means that you'll have access to undergraduate classes, and occasionally at that 400 and 500 level, some maybe graduate classes as well are available to you. If you are interested instead in taking classes at the PhD level, but you're not looking for a degree, you'll want to take a look at our non-traditional graduate studies program. And I'm dropping that link in the chat as well, so you can look at that program. Another thing that has become more recently available to students in the Penn Alumni Program are courses that are offered by Penn LPS Online. Penn LPS Online started offering courses, gosh, has it been a year and a half or 2 years? As well as the first online bachelor's degree in the Ivy League. And what's great about Penn LPS Online classes is that they can also lead to certificates, which are often desirable amongst our students. And so I've added that link there so you can take a look at those classes and certificates. In terms of scheduling, our students, I would say, are predominantly part-time students. Many of them are working professionals and they're looking for evening classes. So if you're looking to study part-time, that's not a problem. But again, we have a lot of students studying full-time and taking classes during the day as well. And that is available to you, what schedule you want. So once a student enters the program, they'll immediately receive a welcome email from their academic advisor with instructions on how to get started or get started again in the Penn Alumni Program. And students are then invited to their first academic advising appointment. And in that appointment, the goal is to learn about what your goals are and work on a path that you can complete at Penn to get towards those goals. We also have a new student orientation in the fall and in the spring, where you can learn about Penn resources or new to you Penn resources that you haven't heard about yet. We have a private Facebook group where students can chat with each other. And we're also working on a month-long workshop on graduate school preparation. I mentioned Penn resources, and there are so many. Within our program, we have monthly chats where we meet either online or in person, depending, to talk about topics that students want to hear about. There is career services that as a Penn graduate, if you're a Penn graduate, you have access to. The Writing Center, as you well know, is fantastic. The Tutoring Center, Weingarten Learning Resources, all of these are open and available to students in the Penn Alumni Program. And again, when you return to Penn or if you come to Penn, you will have access to the libraries at the university, which are an incredible resource. And if you've been away from Penn for some time, you'll be blown away by the online resources that are available to students. Your Penn card will, once we're able to return to campus, will give you access to the Penn Museum and the Morris Arboretum, and all of the speakers and events that are happening on campus. And another thing that's a big interest to a lot of students in the Penn Alumni Program are research opportunities. And research opportunities are very much available to students in the Penn Alumni Program. So let's talk about what your experience in the program might look like. And I'll sort of offer two versions. For some students, it's that you're plenty busy. You're working, you have a family, you have obligations, and you just want to come to Penn and you want to take a class, and that's it. The Penn Alumni Program is perfect for you. But if you're looking to be more involved in the campus, we have students that are participating in research, studying 3 or 4 classes a semester, attending talks, and there are multiple talks going on campus on a daily basis. Students in the program are working with their academic advisor, but they're also working with the faculty and graduate students that they meet at these talks and in their classes to plan for their future. And they're meeting other students other than graduate students. They might take a class with a college undergraduate, another post-bac student. There's a lot of people that you might see in your classroom. I also took a look and got a sense of what the most popular fields of study are amongst students in the program right now. So you'll see just a small sampling of some popular fields of study on this screen. Next, I want to talk about the tuition and fees and how to enroll. Oh, and I should mention again, If you have questions, do feel free to put them into the Q&A. I'd love to have a nice Q&A session at the end. So here are the tuition and fees, and unlike your undergraduate experience or graduate experience, this program charges based on the course. So if you don't register for classes, you don't pay tuition. So we're not charging you a set fee per semester. It's very much based on your course registration. And as I mentioned early on about what courses you have access to, the different types of courses you take have different tuition and fees. So the first type of programs are courses that are offered by the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. And you'll see that within the course roster that I linked, and you'll see them on the LPS site. And you'll see there that the tuition is about half of the traditional sort of undergraduate non-LPS tuition. So there is some significant cost savings there. Again, if you take classes outside of LPS, daytime classes at the college, Wharton, engineering, et cetera, the non-LPS tuition is there, and that's all per course or per course unit. And then lastly, those Penn LPS online courses and certificates that I spoke about are at a significantly reduced tuition for you as well. So those are much more affordable as well. So how to pay for classes. This is a little different than a degree program. Non-degree programs like ours, students are not eligible for federal aid. So our students pay for courses through different methods, and I have a link here on how that works. The most popular way students have paid for courses in this program is through an employer benefit or a tuition benefit that students use to pay for their classes. A lot of students are using that, so it's definitely worth reaching out to your employer to ask if they offer that benefit. The university does also offer a payment plan that breaks down your tuition and fees for the semester into 4 or 5 payments that are paid monthly. And that is definitely something to look into for the fall and spring semesters. All right, so how to enroll. So I don't want to call it an application, even though you have to use the application system to enroll. If you are a graduate of one of the schools mentioned, then you can enroll in the Penn Alumni Program. I would call it open enrollment. And you basically would go to our website, you would go to sort of the Enroll Now form, and you would fill out your information. We don't require essays, transcripts, letters of recommendation, none of those things. We just need your information so we can create your student record. There is no application fee either, so you would just submit that. It's not instantaneous, so it can take up to a week to receive confirmation that you've been admitted. And the key thing is that when you get that offer of admission, that you should accept it because that sets the steps to creating your record and having you enroll in classes. So I'll say that we're currently accepting applications for spring 2021 and summer 2021. I don't think fall is open yet, but you can certainly look in the application portal. And yeah, so that's how that works. And I will leave this screen up so that you can be in touch with me with any questions that you have after this.